All right, what is up, everybody? ShoutsCout0013 here, coming in with another video, this time with Kyler, Canadian Bear, and the Chosen One. We talk a little bit about the command cards and the changes that were made, as well as the different upgrade cards and the changes that were made there, as well as a little bit of strategy and our thoughts on all of this. So definitely stick around and hear what we have, because you might learn a lot and think about a few different ways to play the command cards with changes. If you haven't already joined the Discord, go ahead and join up. We have the rules channel, so in case you've got questions. We've got, if you play Gar, if you play Empire, the different lists that you might have, as well as maybe some input. If you've got questions, if you maybe need strategy ideas or anything like that, feel free to head on over there. This is a great way to also enter in to win the giveaways whenever I have one. This one for Veers just wrapped up, and the winner was announced today, or will be announced today. And the way that you enter in to get your name entered is to just to talk and get engaged. And what I do is, anytime that your name pops up on the server level, I write it down and put you in to enter in to win. So yeah, head on over there. It's a great place. The other way to enter and to win is to be a YouTube subscriber and leave a comment down below. That gets you in to enter. And the last way to enter in is to be a member on the Clan of Shadows Patreon member, or Clan of Shadows Patreon. If you are a paid member, you do get extra chances to win. What this does is, the more members that are signed up, it allows me to have even better giveaways, because then I can afford more giveaways based on the people who are subscribed. And it's cool. I would like to give away more stuff, and yeah, well, that will come in the future. But stay tuned and check out the video, and hopefully you learn a lot. So leave a comment down below with everything, and that'll start the entries for the next giveaway. But yeah, all right, guys, here we go. All right, what is up, everybody? ShoutsCout0013 here, coming in with everybody again. Besides Emperor Atlantis and Grant, but we have Canadian Bear up here.
Hello.
We've got Kyler.
Hey.
And then we have Anthony, the Chosen One.
Going on, yo?
And today we're going to continue talking about the new updated cards. We're going to start with the command cards and try to go all the way up down to the upgrades. And if we can, we'll get to the battle cards and objectives as well, to kind of give you input on kind of like maybe how to play it, and maybe some other, thoughts on it. But yeah, we'll go ahead and get started with the 501st cards. So lead from the front. I noticed that the art was changed. I think Leaders of the 501st was the art from Lead from the Front, and Lead from the Front art was, vice versa. But
Now he's now there's actually somebody leading in the art, so
yeah,
I guess it makes sense.
in my opinion, because I like the Anakin. I like the art from the 501st box. It looks pretty cool. And the biggest change was, now when building a command hand, you treat this as it has 2 pips. And here is the change. So after a friendly commander is issued an order by this card, you can choose up to 3 friendly units at range 1 instead of within range 1 of the commander unit, and each of them is going to gain an aim or a dodge, which is going to be helpful to get those free tokens, because all of the, as we were talking earlier, the free actions or free tokens is going to be huge, so that you don't have to spend an action to get any of that. The 2-pip tactical planning, I feel like, is the exact same. So after a friendly support or special forces unit performs an attack against a unit that has a face-up order token this round, shuffle that order token back into its order pool. And then the 3-pip is permanent. All the units within range 2 of Anakin or Captain Rex gain Indomitable, which is also really nice because of the suppression and the panic. You're deciding if you are panicked before scoring or not. So having the ability to try to get off all of the suppression as fast as you can is probably helpful. Have you guys ever played 501st?
A lot.
And do you feel like any of that card is helpful? Because when I play it, that's probably like one of the opening turns if I'm not playing Anakin's 3-pip or something like that. But I feel like that's one of the first ones to play.
Obviously with the old Anakin, there was a really big incentive to go ahead and get his 3-pip online early. And usually, in the old game, you 6 turns, you're totally fine having a whiffed card on the first turn. So Anakin 3-pip on the first turn just made a lot of sense, and then you could do this on turn 2. I think now it's the absolute reverse. I think you play this turn 1 every single game because you need this effect active going into turn 2 because any errant suppression that has hit your units needs to come off. It's got to get off. Suppressive and suppression and all that kind of stuff is just brutal when you have one whole less turn and you have to march all the way across the board to get to points of interest.
Yep.
We also now know what took them so long to fix the wording on Lead by the Front. It was a whole new edition.
Yeah.
They wanted to surprise us there, I think, at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think lead from the front is it's great. Tokens are so good to give your units now because you almost never want to be doing things that are actions to grant tokens. You don't have enough actions in the game anymore to, have somebody be an action like bolstering and get spotting or whatever. Not spotting. I can't think of it now. The one that gives aims.
You're spotting.
Yeah, spotter.
It is spotting. Okay. Brain fart. So sorry. I don't play that much Empire. Um, so to me, in the practice game, I noticed I rarely wanted to do anything that was not specifically moving or shooting, because posturing for position was incredibly powerful. So the cards like this are going to maintain that like extra level of power because it hands out quite a few tokens, good tokens at that, aims and dodges, right? So yeah, um, all in all, these cards are great. And when you look at the new Anakin cards, which are right underneath of it, you're gonna start to see that like there is definitely a push to making Anakin the actual leader of the leader of the 501st, like the card art.
Yeah, and we can go ahead and get into it. So this is where the fun begins. Is now got some more text, and it's way different. So all of Anakin's cards got a huge rework. So now he's already charged up, like we had talked earlier. And so when you play his 1-pip, Anakin's going to gain a free jump 2 this round and can perform up to 2 attack actions during his activation this round. So you can basically, do the free jump. You can trigger your charge and then maybe force push and then move as your first actual action. Well, main action, I should say. And then you can get that second attack. And then if you needed to take a dodge or something, you could. And then with Divulge, if you wanted to divulge it at the Resolve setup effect step, Anakin's going to gain prepared position, prepare anywhere, and gain a dodge.
Yeah,
Now,
the bottom half of that card basically doesn't exist to me. I don't think that I want to prepare positions my Anakin on turn 1. We talked about, playing three pips and such, or first. It makes more sense, like especially if you're running 501st Anakin, you'd be playing leaders of the 501st probably turn 1 every time. You're not going to play his new 3-pip until later because you inspire. I mean, you got to get shot first, right? So you're not doing that off the board. Let them make any sense. That being said, I mean there are going to be cards. There's going to be examples where like having the ability to prepare positions up at range 1.5 and your opponent is just really silly and like just lets you be like if the terrain allows you to be behind like a building or something that's completely line of sight blocking and it's happens to be almost all the way out at range 1.5, and then your opponent is like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna march some units up here, like, and you could just save him for the last activation to zip, speed up to speed 3, or not speed 3, range 3, excuse me, with a jump to charge, or move into a second move, which will then trigger your charge. But like, I just don't see that happening much, and I just don't see people being able to get both of their attacks off unless they're already in the thick of it. And we looked at his card. He's got tempted, right? Those free moves and things. This card, after he's gotten free tempted moves, and then you pop one pip, and you're just like, yeah, that's the way I think I'm going to play this card. I don't think I'm going to be divulging it almost ever. I might see, peer into the matrix and see some sort of like cheeky play because my opponent deployed poorly or whatever, or like he has a weird list, but I don't know. Prepared positions is such a risk too. Like don't get me wrong, I love prepared positions. Getting a free dodge and being able to start on the board is great because then you don't have to do a move action as your first action if you don't want to. It's really, really good. It's just that it's table dependent. It's what you don't really know enough going in, and then your opponent also, like, it's committing your Anakin onto the board. They're just gonna play around you now. They're just gonna be like, oh, that's where he is. Okay, well, I'm just over here now. Like, I don't know. Just feels like such a waste of a one pip if you prepare positions him out there and
Yeah, that extra.
Although wait, I guess the one thing I will say about this is that it doesn't say you have to pick this card turn one. So does that mean I never really thought about that. Does this therefore you just prepare positions him? I mean, I think it's because if you don't have to play this round one, then I guess it's okay to just use it for the prepare positions effect.
So I think the resolve setup effect step is before turn one.
Yeah, but you just divulge it. Does that mean that you have to play this? I would double check with a TO or a rules form on that one to be sure, because I think like ones like Assajj's card says like you have to pick her card or whatever. After divulging it. Regardless, if you have to play this round one, I'm never playing it that way. If you don't have to play this round one, I guess there's a world where I only care. But like, I don't know, man, having no control over who's walking onto the board feels bad too, because you only get Anakin out there. And that's gonna be awkward. Like,
yeah, no, I'd rather just save it.
I'd save it.
And like you said, tempted is actually going to help him a lot. So, I think playing his 2-pip before his 1-pip is probably going to be better because he'll already be in the middle of everything. And then if you needed to force push somebody and then do your free jump move into another unit and then attack and then maybe do another attack because the jump is a free action.
Yeah, the best possible world with his 1-pip is that you're using jump and a move to trigger both of those attacks for free off of charge, and then you're getting to use his last move to move into an an already activated unit, and then you're feeling pretty good about that, right? So you get 3 moves and 2 attacks on a turn. It's pretty strong, and then maybe no needing to worry about them withdrawing. So yeah, I think that's going to be. Although the new withdrawal change to not burn the entire unit's activation is also making it a little bit more difficult to want to stay embedded in melees. I think keywords like disengage are going to be stronger because of that. But tempted, I think, is almost like a interesting, like,
workaround around that.
Yeah. So maybe that can get you into engagements here and there when they weren't expecting you to. So he's such a good card now, though. And the Inspire, great on turn 2 when you're trying to make sure that all your guys score. The 2-pip to make sure that you kill something. The 1-pip to give you the agility and the mobility. I just don't see very many cases where Anakin feels weak anymore. There's no flaw; it's gone. So you're always going to get those orders when you need them.
And the good thing about go ahead. Sorry.
Just gonna say I looked it up in the rules just in case. It has to say that it has to be played with divulge in order, so you get the option to put it back in your hand and not play it turn 1 if you divulge it.
Yeah. So again, I think it means that there might be worlds where I go ahead and I reveal my hand, as it were, by giving Anakin the prepared position keyword. He's just not the unit that I want the prepared positions keyword on, I don't think. I guess that's really where I'm back at, right? Which is like, even if I don't have to play that card turn 1, I'm showing my opponent like, here's where Anakin's gonna be. There's no posturing for position. You just start with your opponent's gonna have full knowledge of what you're trying to do at that point, because where Anakin goes is where you're going to be controlling the board. And now your opponent is going to potentially be able to say like, oh, actually, I don't want to play across the board from Anakin. I'm going to be over here, fight over this point of interest.
Yeah, maybe just like bunker assault and intercept signals, just because it's so narrow, potentially.
Yeah, there's a couple where like you're definitely still going to fight over the middle, and like I guess at that point maybe it's okay, but the ones where what are you doing with turn 1 anyways with him? like if you have the piece of terrain that's completely line of sight blocking that you could like tuck behind, then
I could also see a world where you got Garrison as your advantage card, so now you've got a core unit out there providing backup to Anakin too.
Yeah, you'd have to, right? Yeah, I feel a little bit more okay with it. But again, you're not deploying Anakin in the open, so you have to have that piece of the line of sight blocking terrain. Yeah. So I guess circling the drain a little bit is, there's a world where I use it to give him the prepare positions now that I don't have to play the card turn 1. But when I read the card, I was so not interested in that. And in my game, I had a unit with prepared positions that also had scout, and I actually was like thinking after the game, I gained almost no extra distance because like I needed to prepare positions in a safe spot. So I literally put him like maybe 1 inch higher than what the scout would have given me. Because I had to be behind the building. I was like, I'm not gonna just start on the board where you're just gonna shoot the crap out of me. Like that's silly. So yeah.
Okay. And then going along with his 3-pip, it not only gives him Inspire 2, but it also, when Anakin issues an order to a unit with this card, it's going to gain an aim token. So,
yeah, incredible.
Yeah. And there is no more range for handing out orders. It's just anybody can get that. So that could also be really nice for even arcs, because if you have giving your arcs another free aim and then they move and then shoot, that's 2 aims they have already. Then you've got
now they get to reroll dice and pierce. Yeah.
So yeah, those are Anakin's cards. I feel like it's way better now. Now
did we go over the 2-pip?
Yeah, it's just the 6 white dice.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
It makes him, that's his execution card. It just makes him that much more punch up. It's very RNG dependent. 6 white dice is gonna. I mean, everyone who's shot a Z6 knows, like, sometimes you see 4 crits and sometimes you
see nothing.
Just see
one surge.
Yeah, which I guess he surges, so that's
crit,
cool. But it's a lottery.
It's got to be against a unit that has a face down order token, and then you get the 6 white dice. So you kind of want to be careful who you're attacking that round in order to get that.
Yeah, and again I will say that, like, for at least for me, the card art really kind of shows you where you're going to want to be doing it. Like, when somebody goes into you, right? Like if they're Assajj, like, kind of charged into you, and like this is like your ability to just like wham, and you just hit back like very hard. So
your
that's
chance
cool.
to survive Dooku. Your only hope.
Yeah, if the card art showed Dooku, I would be like, nah, I think Dooku's gonna kill Anakin. Dooku's probably the only Jedi in the game right now that just absolutely counters like Anakin.
Anakin would have too many arms in this picture.
Yeah, no, which is kind of crazy, but like, if I think we're gonna see that Anakin's stocks are like kind of like the inverse of Dooku. Like, as Dooku becomes more popular, Anakin will become less popular, which will then make Dooku less popular, because like he's no longer countering like Anakin, and then he'll become less popular, and then Anakin will become more popular again. And it's just gonna be like I don't know. We'll see. That's my early take on it, but I yeah.
All right, and then we have Captain Rex. So this is a huge change that I know Pally wishes he could be here for. just to talk about. But Clone Captain, or Call Me Captain now, is once per activation this round, while Clone Captain Rex has a face-up order token. When another friendly unit attacks an enemy unit that's at range 2 and in line of sight of Rex, you can add 3 red attack dice to the friendly unit's attack pool during the form attack pool step. So Rex can be in melee, he can be anywhere, as long as he's at range 2 of the enemy you are attacking and he's in line of sight, he's going to be able to add 3 red attack now. And whether you're in melee, or like if Anakin's in melee at range 2 of Rex, he can still add the 3 red attack dice, which is pretty nice. And I had mentioned earlier, if you're playing, Captain Rex with Yoda, not that you really would be all the time, if Yoda's doing 2 attacks, that's an extra 3 red attack dice, so that could technically be like 7 red twice, or it could
14.
be...
Yeah, it's 14.
Yeah,
Oh, sorry. No, you don't get it the second time. So once per activation. But it would be 8 plus 3. 11 red dice, pierce 4. Pretty good.
The last list I came up with before this change revolved around this card. It was Anakin, Rex, and Triple Wookiee. And in one turn, because of this card, I took out my opponent's Anakin and their Yoda.
Yeah, wow.
And because of the extra treasure points, I just got to add 2 more Clone Commandos. And speaking of Clone Commandos, they don't lose high velocity now.
Right.
So now it's 7 red with lethal 1.
You're just adding, you're just adding dice to the pool instead of adding
Yeah.
weapons to the pool. So
It's not far
there's worlds where it's better. There's some small worlds where it's worse. Because I believe it used to be not limited to 1 per activation. Don't quote me.
His old command card?
Yeah.
I don't think it was once, as long as he had a face-up order token.
Because I seem to remember. I feel like in a land long time ago, galaxy far away, Rex shot on both of Yoda's his range to force wave.
It says force wave, yeah.
Yeah, because that was always pretty spicy, because it's a surge to crit pool 4 black, right? And then just like, oh, let me throw three of Rex's dice in there, and that was really, really good. That felt great. Blast suppressive, 6 red, 8 black. I did it like once, maybe twice, but then I was quickly off of the Rex train and back onto the Chewbacca train, because you got to play more Wookiees if you can.
What a great segue, honestly.
It really was.
Yeah. And
Size matters sometimes.
Yep, still Chewie and Yoda. So if Chewie is at range 1 of a friendly Yoda and Yoda is on the battlefield, you can place Yoda. So it has to be on the battlefield. It can't be non-deployed yet. Yoda is in base contact with Chewie, or place him in base contact with Chewie. And if you do, Yoda cannot perform moves. And after Chewbacca moves, you get to place Yoda in base contact with Chewie. Then while Yoda is in base contact with Chewie, Chewie gains deflect and can spend Yoda's dodge tokens and roll red defense dice while defending or using Guardian. So I'm sure that's probably come up in one of your games, Kyler, because I know that you like to play them both together a lot.
Almost exclusively.
Has anything really changed from that card?
No, it's really just a modernized version of the card.
Got rid of the words, put in the symbol, pretty much.
Yeah, got rid. Yeah, it's cleaned up the text. It's got the symbol. The keywords are now in bold, deflect, guardian, so that you know that they're talking about keywords. So, but I will say that at least as long as we're talking about this card, and it's worth mentioning with the new rules, is that this card went from good to absolutely nutty insane. You can now walk Yoda onto the board in guidance and not need to worry about him being left behind with your army, because Chewbacca's movement gets, he teleports to Chewbacca from range 1 with this card, and that's awesome, right? That's really, really, really good. So while I would love to play Yoda Rex and do some shenanigans, I'm not leaving the Wookiee at home. Like, the Wookiee's got to come. So
it just feels so cool to be able to have scouting party with Yoda, have him do that, and then give Rex Relentless to Gunslinger, 4 units or 2 units
It is
twice.
cool. Oh, it's incredible. Yeah, to Rex with Relentless feels great. He peekaboos, he shoots, and then he goes back behind some cover if it's possible, and then you guidance him, and then he can come out at the end of the round with the guidance and pow, shoot some more. Yeah, it's awesome. But I can do that with Bad Batch, and I don't need to give him my card, and I can give the Relentless to the Wookiee, and I can still do the steady trick. So, I don't know. Like, Rex, you're cool and all, but I don't know.
That's another. Oh gosh, that's another thing I didn't realize. We're never gonna get an updated Chewie where he can Guardian operatives now. Thanks, Bad Batch.
If you could Guardian Bad Batch, that's just disgusting. Yeah,
I mean,
with Chewbacca, like that would be disgusting.
Because they also don't benefit from backup.
No, they don't. It's in the regs thing. They don't get backup or whatever.
Okay, I missed that one.
Yeah, the we're not regs keyword, it prevents them from getting backup from clone troopers.
I mean, they don't need it. They have force barrier, and they have like good defensive keywords as well. So I don't think that they're really missing it too much. Yeah, you're not sharing those tokens with your clones, but anyway, that's not talking about new command cards. So
yep. So diplomatic cover.
That's a different video. Diplomatic cover. It's may as well just say give Padmé secret mission. I mean, why do we even have a top half or the other half anymore?
Yep, and if not, she gains Inspire 1.
So if she becomes Inspire 3, that's about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, which you're not gonna do because she doesn't have quick thinking anymore. So you're not following her around with your clones, giving her no more exemplar, no more quick thinking.
She doesn't even get her dodge anymore from infiltrating.
No,
she doesn't.
I mean, she has Agile 1, so you deploy, you infiltrate when you're deploying, so it's not really a big deal. So.
No, it's not a huge deal, but anyway, yeah, no, her card may as well just say hey, give her secret mission. And I mean, I'm gonna play her if I ever throw her in my list, like that's her job. Her job will be to score me secret mission. Almost 100% of games, like that's gonna be what I'm gonna want her to do. She'll be pretty good at it too, given that agile, nimble, card. She's good at like skirting like edges of the board. So like if you don't think that you need her to be defensive with the rest of your clones and stuff like that, it gives them something to think about. In her sharpshooter, or sharpshooter 2 means that she's going to be able to take out things along the way. Like she's still going to be able to contribute while she's kind of skirting the edge of the battlefield. But yeah, if you're not using her for secret mission, I'm not sure what you're bringing her for.
Don't know. But, all right, yeah, so we have Do Not Underestimate Our Means. So this is going to be the Super Tactical Droid. This is 3 droid troopers or AI units, and if this card was not divulged at the start of the activation phase this round, you could choose up 2 friendly units that have a face-up order token. Each chosen unit recovers, and you can divulge it to resolve the setup effect step is choose up to 3 friendly units with AI, and each chosen unit gains reinforcements this game. So I think there were some changes to reinforcements and how it works. Did you guys... Because I think it was like they gain an extra move at the end of their activation or something like that. I had never played droids, so I don't know, but I haven't checked for the swoop bikes either, because swoop bikes also have reinforcements.
I don't think that changed. If anything, maybe it's from 3 down to 2 on the recover. Yeah, I don't think it changed.
At the start of the end phase of the first round of a game, a unit with reinforcements may perform a free speed 1 move.
Okay, so yeah, that's what it was now. So
at the so you're just it's a free speed 1 move with what, 3 guys, 2 guys, whatever the command card.
3 guys, I think.
3. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, I feel
you
like
know,
that's good for bikes
it's-
too. Maybe.
Yeah, it's good for anybody. I mean, we talked about like how powerful like Scout is and stuff like that. This is basically Scout on the back end. It's the same thing, right? Like if you walked on 2 and then you moved 2 and then you scouted, or sorry, did the speed 1 move at the end. It's the same as if you scouted onto the board and then you did 2 moves. So, yeah, I mean that's pretty cool. I guess one way to read that card is like it's like free 15 free list building points, right? So like now it's like if instead of putting recon intel on 3 units, I could just play this card and get the benefit of the thing and not have to spend the 5 points during list building. So that's cool. I like it.
You're bringing Magnus. That's the only way you would be able to, also because outside of what is it? No, not even Geonosians, but outside of like Pikes, Black Sun, and like Poggle, none of them have a gear up slot to take recon anyways. So that
that's
might
even
be
So it's basically it's
gotta
shoring
be
up the
AI
weakness
units,
of the fact
though.
they can't.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
but it's shoring up the fact that they can't maybe take recon. So like that's cool. Yeah, I like it.
Which is, did we ever talk about the new revealed units? Because that's going to double up with the scouting party on the crab droids.
No, I think we wound up forgetting or just running out of time last time.
There's so much.
Yes, but I mean, I've heard so many other people talking about them. But like, I guess if the new crab droids, they've got scout though. Or,
Yeah, they've got scouting party one.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yes, my master.
So yeah, this one is no units.
No
You
units.
Must
I love
divulge
that.
this card. Yeah, right. They're very specific on that. It says that it stays in play. So yeah, you have to keep this card in play. You're divulging it during the resolve setup effect step. You can choose one of the following effects to resolve. So permanent Assajj Ventress gains bounty and reinforcements for that extra free movement, or she can gain demoralize 1, Makashi, and outmaneuver. And I think we all know which one everyone's going to be choosing.
Bounty, obviously.
Yeah.
You know it.
Yeah. The most powerful one in the game. And then the Phantom Menace.
Which got significantly worse in the new edition.
because of marked targets.
No, it's just the fact that like bounty is just like, okay, cool, I got a victory point. Well, when you were playing on key positions, that's huge. It means that like you can like tie a game and you've killed their mark, so you're probably winning on kill points and stuff like that. Or like you could take VAPs and just be like, oh, I guess I just win, 5-4, right? Because it was like a nice way to like either ensure a tie or break a tie. And then now it's like you score up to 12, like, woohoo, it's like 1 point out of 12. I mean,
you don't have to stay alive.
Yeah, when it was 1 point extra when you're scoring 3 points, that's crazy. It's an extra 33% of your score right there. That's insane. Now it's an extra 12. So
maybe if the points hadn't gone down to reinforcements, now that it essentially gives you Scout 1, would be a little bit worth it, maybe?
Nah, no. I think you're still taking. Demoralize Makashi.
Yeah, because that suppression, especially at the end before scoring, is probably going to be way more important. Because if you can demoralize a unit that's already gone, that already had 1 suppression or maybe 2 suppression.
Yeah, and plus she has her command card that like blasts everybody with suppression and stuff. So it's just really like good. I mean, there's going to be times where you're gonna use her and throw her into a point by herself and just completely destroy your opponent's like plan,
Wait. For a second there, I thought she could. I forgot that it's light side only for Mind Trick, because if you could stack that with fear, that'd be hilarious.
Yeah, no. Yeah, that would be too busted.
Yeah.
Maul's card's good now. I mean,
Yeah.
it's always been good. It's the same card, but like now it's more clear.
Yeah, so this round Maul cannot attack enemy units beyond range 2. Maul cannot attack. And enemy units beyond range 2 of Maul cannot attack him, which is the exact same And then for divulging, Maul gains infiltrate this game, which is really nice to get him in closer, but sometimes I'd rather him just not get shot. But I mean, with
again, you can infiltrate him now with the step, and you don't have to play the command card, so it's pretty sweet.
Yeah. Next up, we've got I Make the Rules now for Cad Bane. I'm liking the art on this one as well. If this card was not divulged, you can place one Bane token within range 1 of Cad Bane and beyond range 1 of all enemy units. So what was the biggest change here?
I think they just cleaned it up.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. I couldn't see anything major that was changed from it.
I played against Cad more than I've ever. Like I tried him once in Empire, but I played against him a ton, and when I was reading the card, I was like, I couldn't spot the difference. So maybe if there's a Cad main out there, they might find one little weird nuance change, but I couldn't find it. I do think though that in general I like the design of it's at least it's nice because by them doing this thing where like the dynamic size of the picture and the art and everything, now they can kind of put more space and be as wordy as they need to be to make it more clear and stuff.
So the last game, though, or before this change, it says this game, if you do divulge it, you can place 3 Bane tokens on the battlefield beyond range 1 of enemy territory. This card must be selected during round 1. But here's where I think it might have changed: is this game, Cad Bane cannot deploy or perform any actions until a friendly Here I Am token is revealed. So does that mean that you cannot reveal it? You have to wait for somebody to reveal it, or can you choose to?
The rules for the Here I Am token allow you to just reveal him though at the start of a turn, so you can. And I don't think that's changed. I mean, somebody can go to the rule book. If that's changed, that's wild, and maybe that is the big change. But
no, you can still reveal it. I'm looking at the rules right now.
Okay.
Yeah, because it was, and that's I guess maybe one of the downsides of like Cad Bane is that like you have to actually read the rules for his tokens specifically to understand what the token does, and the token is actually what grants you the ability to reveal. So yeah, but in any case, it definitely is a little bit more clear, and maybe by putting that clarification there is like on the card, it's saying like, hey, you don't go with Cad. You played this card. Don't actually try to go with him. You have to do the other rules, right? And then use him that way.
Was his bomb always 2 red, 2 black, blast, critical 4, impact 2, suppressive?
They pretty much just moved the surge crit to clean up the text and make it a little bit smaller to make it critical 4.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Next up, we've got...
It may as well be surge crit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Essentially, yeah. They just added more text to the card, honestly.
Yeah.
Next up is Let the Executions Begin. This is Poggle the Lesser. So this round, when a friendly core unit performs an attack, the defending unit is at... if the defending unit is at range 2 and in line of sight of Poggle, during the roll attack dice step, the attacking unit's surge conversion chart gains surge to crit during this attack.
Hooray, surge crit.
Yeah.
Whoop whoop. This is basically just an extra slap in the face of the ISP, because they get the because they used to have the upgrade where when you're fire supported or whatever, like you get the surge to crit or whatever, which can't happen anymore. So the cards, and then these guys have the ability to add surge crit. So I'm just like, oh, the droids took the surge crit upgrade from ISP and decided to give it to
Poor
droids.
ISP.
And
it's so bad.
Poggle
It's
no
so
longer
bad.
adds his dice. That's the other big change.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, and that's probably for the best. But yeah, it's just poor ASP.
I would be so salty if he still got to add his dice and Rex gets to just add only his dice and not his surge crit.
Oh,
Right?
true. Yeah.
But
But they don't surge naturally, right? Most of those cores, so it's like I guess adding surge crit is still pretty effective.
neither do clone infantry or whatever they are.
Fair.
So next up, we've got Supreme Commander. So this one I feel like is going to be insane from what I hear. So General Grievous gains Ruthless this round. And do we know what Ruthless does?
It's the
Yeah, so
Moff
when
Gideon.
a
And stuff for a wound to do an action, correct? I think Moff Gideon has it.
one
That's
free
right.
action, yeah, which is great. I mean, what else are you gonna say? It's free anything you want.
And when a friendly unit is issued an order by this card, that unit and each other friendly unit at range 1 of it, trooper unit, I should say, at range 1 and a line of sight of that unit gains a Assajj token. So, yeah, so when a friendly unit is issued an order by this card, that unit and each other friendly unit at range 1 of it and in line of sight gains a Assajj.
Yeah,
Hmm.
it's a lot of surges.
I mean, with him already getting essentially Guardian 2 from backup, yeah, you're happy with that. I don't know. I lost my Guardian 2 on everything.
And Esteemed Leader doesn't really matter anymore, does it? Because units with Guardian, core units with Guardian cannot provide backup, right?
No,
No,
they
the
can't.
opposite. Guardian units get rid of the core restriction to provide backup.
Okay, that's right.
So so yeah. But I mean, the Steam thing gives core Guardian, so it's just like it doesn't change anything. They're already a core, so they already could have given backup. So it's less good, I guess, for them maybe.
You're just doubling down.
Yeah.
Never
yeah,
letting
exactly.
Grievous or Vader die.
Right. But then
yeah, for Vader, it's crazy.
So then they'd gain backup and Guardian, so they could back up the 2 hits and then Guardian a hit, right?
Yeah, they'll already have backup, but now it's giving them Guardian on top of it. So it's a good upgrade. It's just yeah.
Okay.
Um,
Reckless Diversion. I mean, unless you had anything else to say about the last one.
I was just gonna mention that I think that people might be tempted to play that Supreme Commander card turn 1 because everything is within range 1 of everything, and you get like a bajillion surges. But like, you're not shooting much on the first round, so you're gonna be doing a lot of moves and trying to get in position. So just kind of like a warning to people of like it may be a trap to play that card turn 1.
Yeah, because I think I asked that about Kenobi's 3-pip, which basically gives everybody a certain amount of surge tokens for each unit at range 1 of it. So, yeah, I guess there would be no point for that one. So Reckless Diversion, Han Solo and 1 unit. So when an enemy unit performs an attack this round, it must attack a trooper unit that has a face-up order token if able. Friendly trooper units that have face-up order tokens do not benefit from backup this round. So I guess they added that last part because I guess it would have been a little too powerful.
Good thing he can still get Guardian.
I don't like that card. That's all I'm gonna say. I don't like it. I think it's bad because the effect is sometimes making it so that you can't shoot what you want to shoot, but then you're always for the rest of you're not getting backup, like no matter what, right? So when the condition can't be met, right, you still get the negative. So I'm not a fan of this card.
It's probably still good with that Ewok trick. You just throw out the 1 unit of Ewoks with like 1 model in the open. So
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and then it dies.
yeah. Still take 6 shots.
Yeah.
All right, so we have Hold at Any Cost, which is 3 core or support units. And yeah, I'm liking the art on a lot of these. So each friendly trooper unit that is issued in order using this card gains an aim and a standby token.
It's pretty great.
And so I guess it took off.
Because Echo Base is one of the few places where you're going to actually have range 3 standby, right? You're on your MKs and your dishes, your FD cannons. It's pretty great. Standbys are great when you have Sentinel.
And I was thinking about that when I was just building the clones with the comm technician, which is 30 points. But the giving it Overwatch to get that free standby and that's kind of fun. because then each free action is way better. All right, so I am no Jedi.
I'm mad
So-
at the first line of text already.
You-
Just so you know.
The rebel
Rebel
only.
only. Come on, man.
Yeah, like
Come
I feel like
on.
this would have been
Because
perfect.
I'm all right. Like I don't want to be super negative, but we know that the Ahsoka box is gonna come out or whatever. If it doesn't have 6 command cards, then and you have like these rebel only shenanigans, it's like I'm gonna be pissed because like I want to be able to play more Ahsoka cards. Is all I'm saying. Like I don't know. It's just such a weird decision. So if maybe I get it if they were making like 4 or 5 different command cards for the new Ahsokas or whatever. Like maybe like 3 that they share. 1 is for Commander, 1 is for Padawan. Like that could be cool design space. And then you had 4, and then they didn't want you to have like all these and so many. But I get where they're going with that. But like, why is she getting punished? Like unless they have future plans to take all the other leaders like Boba Fett, who can't split his Daimyo cards with his other one, the original Empire Boba Fett. Like the fact that he gets to share all of his cards, Maul gets to share his card, well, one in one direction, which I guess is also another. But you see what I'm saying? Like I don't like this. It's a change that I don't think they should either undo it or they should make it do that for everybody. Which obviously will suck for like Luke, and it'll suck for a lot of people. But like, Vader, right? Vader will not be able to get all 6 command cards. Like, hey, but I mean, like, I just don't like the idea that they're being picky about like which units don't get to share their command cards like that. Like, it should be across the board. Design decision to say like this operative version of this card operates in these ways, and then gives you those things. Maybe that's a hot take, and I think there's probably going to be people who are they're gonna speak from the gut, and they're gonna be like, no, how dare you make my Boba Fett worse? Talking to you, Steven. How dare you make my Boba Fett worse? And I raise you, don't care.
Incoming trade alert. You receive less command cards. I receive I don't care.
No, but seriously, I like Ahsoka a ton, and so when I see this, that was my take on it, right? Like it's more of like a why not let me play with my toys? And I have Rebel Ahsoka, and I'm gonna get the Padawan Commander box of her. And it would be really cool if I could use some of these cards because I think a couple of these are really cool. I mean, like I get the the team up one, being it's like Rebel only for Sabine. Like that makes sense, sure.
Mm-hmm.
But like these 3, come on, man. Like, but whatever. All right. Anyway, I'll let you read the card now. That's my rant over.
I think that's the only change. The only change is that it's just Rebel only because with this card she always gained Agile 1 and a white.
Oh, you're
attack
right. Yeah, the rest
dice.
is just cleanup. Okay, you're
Mhm.
right. Yep. So I guess we can skip all 3 of them.
Yep,
Rebel
because they're
only.
all just for Rebel
Womp womp.
only.
Womp womp.
Fear and Deadman for Darth Vader. So after an attack against Darth Vader is resolved this round, the attacking unit suffers 1 wound for each wound Darth Vader suffered during that attack. So
Yeah, wasn't it? It was just worded poorly before, right? That's all they did. They just cleaned up the wording.
yeah, because I think it was having to deal with like deflect and stuff and what was going on. So I think they just made it a lot easier to understand.
Cool.
The 3-pip for Darkness Descends. The permanent discard. If this card was not divulged, he's going to gain Reliable 2, which I think is amazing to have. And then Darth Vader gains Infiltrate this game if you do divulge it, and this card must be selected during round 1. I always try not to divulge it because the Reliable 2 is always insanely good, and he can't bring into the fray. So I think the Reliable 2 is going to be way better. Always.
Yeah, I mean for me, that when I look at the card, I don't think it's changed at all. It's just cleaner looking. But I mean, you're giving him Reliable too, right? Like, is there a world where we don't?
I think you infiltrate on Commander Vader.
But why?
Because he's only speed 1.
Slow. He's got
speed
short
1
legs.
versus speed turn 1. Now he's in. Because you can
I don't
also
know.
now.
I don't know if I would burst to speed him turn one, but I definitely see a world where you
But
infiltrate.
if you burst a speed turn 1, you can now do the whole 12 core if you do short troopers.
Yeah, and they didn't add Scout 1, because in the last one, when you divulged it, he had Infiltrate and Scout 1.
He had Infiltrate and Scout 1, yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't have that this time. So he could be a little bit farther, but yeah, if there was a prepared positions unit out there, he could, I guess you could infiltrate him and get him into the lines super early, especially the ones that have like the 5 extra guys.
Now he has the order, so you can always put him last. It's not like prepared positions where he's out there before the round starts.
I know this is gonna sound blasphemous or whatever, but like I just think that if people are really worried about like getting him deployed forward and you're gonna play Commander Vader, just bring a Gav. Like that eats him way out there in the front, and you can do it at the end of a
It's only core and special forces that you can put in transports.
Oh, that's right. They changed that. Those jerks. God dang it. Dang it. No,
Yeah,
you're
so
right.
no more...
So I guess he's just got short legs. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, he's the Mike Myers, just walking while everyone's running and still winds up catching up to them at some point.
Yeah.
Before we go on to the next one, I do have one comment about Ahsoka's cards.
What is it?
Why did they get rid of the best of the 4 arts and leave the worst of the 4 arts? They replaced I Am No Jedi with Ahsoka slashing open Vader's helmet for just them locking guards, but they leave poor Sabine's awfully drawn face.
Yeah, yeah, New Beginnings art is definitely leaving a little bit to be desired. I'm not trying to knock artists out there, like, I mean, they're doing something that I'm not doing, so, like respect, but I definitely feel like that card probably could have gotten, left.
Maybe even the new
left on the
Ahsoka
chopping block.
TV show art could have been decent on there.
Yeah, that was a little bit of a miss. Especially considering when they did so much good art, especially when we were looking at the command cards. There's a lot of cards that got really good art. So that's a missed opportunity. I agree with you there.
I will miss Maul's old Phantom of the Menace card.
I mean,
that with Maul coming out with his probe droids.
Yeah,
that was epic.
That was pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, command card art is just a meme.
So next up we have Annihilation Looms, which is, I think Graham discovered a very fun thing to do with this, so I don't know if you want to divulge the secret, but I'll read it. I'll read it first. So this is giving it to Orson Krennic and 2 other units. Each trooper unit gains 2 suppression tokens instead of 1, and if it's around 4 or 5, each trooper unit gains 1 additional suppression, so you're able to give out 3 instead of 2. So they just upped the amount of suppression given whenever you play the card, which it's pretty cool, and it's got some awesome Rogue One art on there. But
that's a bad decision. The fact that it gives out 3 suppression if you played on round 4 and 5 is just not good for the game, because if you have again, it's like what courage value is going to be that powerful, obviously a lot of courage 2 units and stuff like that, and then we have some secondaries that encourage you to try to suppress your whole opponent's whole army and stuff, and then you have cards like this, and then you're just turn 4 you're scoring 0, nothing, you get a goose egg because all your guys are panicked because it's the end of the round, so it's before you pull off your things, and everybody's they have a chance to rally, but if you throw 2 suppression on everybody, they rally some number of them, and then whoever's still high, and you're like, oh, that guy, okay, and you just start shooting and spreading around all these suppressions, and you can really just make somebody not score at all. And courage 1 is just going to be like a liability now that I don't think I can take.
And it meets the secondary objective like that.
Yeah,
you immediately score
and I've somebody in my play area has already talked about it, about how bad courage 1 kind of felt because they were just constantly suppressed and having they felt the need to always be moving their units to get to points of interest. And so, yeah, I don't know if you're playing this card turn 1 for the potential to take Courage 1 units and panic them. But it can happen.
Yeah, speaking of that was confirmed in the rules form. So if you play this on turn 1, and if you're not careful and you deploy your commander first, they're no longer in line of sight and in range of all of your undeployed units. So if you've got a whole bunch of Courage 1 units left in your undeployed section, they're all now panicked, and they have to do a rally step. And if they fail their rally step, they now deploy on turn 2. So have fun.
they just do nothing turn 1, yeah, potentially.
Yeah.
Which is actually it's so good. It against a Courage 1 army, it's actually so good that it will win you the game. I don't think that there's gonna be a lot of worlds where you are gonna see the commander deployed. Like, I'm not really sure who's taking the commander token and going like, yeah, this is my first guy I want to throw onto the board. But yeah, the chance for it is already silly enough that
Well,
it
I
probably
guess-
shouldn't be a thing.
I guess if you divulge Anakin first and you have him have prepared positions and now he's on the field and you don't have any other commander other than him and they played that, then they could be suppressed but not panicked, and then they could only get that one action to move onto the field and then be an entire
And then your turn is over.
yeah. So I wouldn't
Although, unless you're me, because I put Scout on every single unit in my entire list, so I'm still fine.
or if you're 501st, you basically have Scout and or Scouting Party and or Infiltrate with
Hey,
commandos
there's
in
more
there.
the reason to give them Indomitable round 1. More reason.
Mm-hmm.
You see Krennic across the board, you're like, I know what you're doing.
We might see a lot more like Rebel Officer and Imperial Officer upgrades, just for that Courage 2 bump, because it's only like 16 points for Rebel Officer, instead of doubling your unit size to get Indomitable.
I'll be honest with you, I think that doubling the unit size, it is not as great as I thought it was going to be. It's expensive for a lot of armies. I think clones maybe can do it because it's like 56 and you're just like, all right, cool, I get 5 dudes for 56 points. Everybody else, it's like really overcosted right now, so I'm not sure.
70 points for Shores.
Yeah, yeah, I don't know how that happened. Well, I mean, I do, because Shores
Prepared positions.
the ability to do prepared positions and then do the long shot or whatever, I guess is what they were worried about, is that like you have units that could just alpha strike. It's like, oh, what walked onto the board? Bam. Just that's probably why. But it's steep. So I agree. I think bumping up your courage of units is like really, really, really good.
Next up, we've got Moment of Consideration, which is Moff Gideon. Units issued in order by this card gain a standby instead of fire support, and you can give it to 3 different core and or heavies. So,
it may as well say the same thing, right? Isn't fire support just?
Yeah.
Yeah,
fire
exactly.
support is a standby now.
Why'd they change it?
Giving it to your Dark Troopers, since they've got no courage. No one's stripping that standby unless they are force pushed.
Now you've got, if you do a Krennic Moff Gideon list, you've now got a 2-pip and a 3-pip handing out standbys to your Dark Troopers.
That's going to be rough.
Throw Veers in there with an ATST and give guide some standbys onto the ATST.
Oh, gosh. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to buy another ATST. Yeah. And now no longer Gar standby people. But I'm trying to get another ATST just specifically for Veers. That'd be so nice. All right, so we'll get into the Blizzard Force. So Blizzard Force, Unrelenting Fire. It's 2 units. Each enemy units cannot remove more than 1 suppression token during their rally step this round. So that's going to be super powerful, especially if you've got your 3 or your 2 ATSTs out there and handing out tons of suppression with the mortars as well. The and or I should say the E-webs with their suppressive gun. The overwhelming barrage is also 2 units, and once this round, at the end of the activation of a friendly commander unit, it may perform an attack using the following weapon. It is a blast, beam 1, critical 3, which I don't think it was critical. It was just surge to hit last time. It's also immune to deflect and suppressive, and it's 4 black, range 4 to infinity. So I think that one's actually way better because now it surges, or it's got critical 3.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
better because now you don't feel the need to use specific commanders to like gain benefits of it. Like you just
I'm curious if
There
they
you go.
changed that interaction, because I know before you could choose which surge conversion chart to use, essentially.
I
So
think
I'm
it was
wondering if they
just
changed that.
I think it was just surge to hit. It had
Well, no,
surge to hit
if
on
it
the.
was Veers, you could choose to do surge to hit or surge to crit.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought you always had to
Yeah.
go use the surge to hit.
Nope. Yeah, you got to choose, so that might be why, and they might just have it as a stapled crit 3, and you can't do that anymore.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
We've got debark for ground assault, which is 3 units, and you're probably going to give it to the core because each friendly core trooper unit that is issued an order using this card gains spur this round, which is good and bad now with the suppression. And the weapon for each friendly core trooper unit that is issued an order using this card gains suppressive. So this is a highly suppressive battle force, I feel like just really outdoing
Yeah.
the suppression.
Yeah, I mean that seems to be the direction that they're going with these cards. I think is they want to play around with suppression quite a bit. It's cool.
Yeah, I think that's pretty. Let's see, like faction identity or at least battle force identity on that one.
Yeah.
All right, so Tempest Force, drive them out. Oh wait, did you have something to say? Okay. So we have Tempest Force. We've got the 1 pit for 1 vehicle. It is friendly vehicles gain demoralize 1 this round. So all of the vehicles gain demoralize 1. The first time that a friendly vehicle with a face-up order token ends a move at half a range of an enemy unit this round instead of displacing them, you can roll white defense dice for each miniature in that enemy unit, and then for each paint you see, the enemy unit suffers a wound. So, yes, there's no more overlapping
Displacement.
anymore. Yeah, no more displacement, so it's got to be at that half range, which I feel like is also nicer because now you don't have to be as close as you used to be. Like you could be a little bit farther away, and then do like your move and be half range instead of on top of. So that's pretty nice. We've got.
I'll be honest. I actually miss the displacement. I know it was clunky, and they probably needed to just clarify a lot of the rules and the wording of it. And I know that they probably got rid of it because it was clunky, like first and foremost. But honestly, I think we all would agree that if an ATST is walking at troopers, it should be able to stomp on the troopers and actually like do something. Um, you know, goodbye, bus, running over people and doing all shenanigans with the bus and speeders I definitely see a world where like maybe they wanted, certain types of vehicles maybe to not displace, but like these ground vehicles, like they're tanks. Like how are they gonna? I mean, you could literally stop a tank from being able to score onto a point by just putting your guys like there and just be like, yeah, you can't contest me now, right? Because if you can't end the base completely or off my minis, you just cohere a couple guys, little, make put 2 guys up front and then like a couple guys around it. But there you go. You can't get onto the point because you can't move enough to get over me, and then you can't move on top of me. So it's just really weird that I don't know. It's like one of those memes of like the people, like protesting, in the highway, and all the cars are stopped and stuff. It's just like, like, like no man, these are ATSTs. They'll just run you over. Like, I don't know. I miss it. So this card gives you a little bit of the flavor of being able to kind of like stomp on them, but like I just wish that as a whole mechanic, I wish that displacement was still still a thing.
I just get like a visual of an ATST just kicking one of the miniatures from half range, and it's like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
That whole situation is just very weird now that you can, like, ATSTs still block line of sight, but you can now run between their legs.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, yeah. That's another. Oh man, that's another one. I mean, the silhouette thing for ATSTs, definitely a weird one. But they can't open up that can of worms because then it's like, well, then what about an ATRT? It's basically just a little
Yeah.
version of that. Like, why is he blocking line of sight? And then it just kind of like snowballs. So I sort of get why they suspend some disbelief on certain things. But where I draw the line is on displacement. You should be able to have vehicles move through and displace uh, other models. And whatever mechanic they needed to do to make that happen, I think it would have been cool to have made that happen. Like, I don't know. Maybe it's just they thought it was a little too strong if they let the person doing the displacing control where the units go. But then it became this weird like game of like, well, you're displaced and I can't be, and how close is close to the original starting spot, and how do we know that that's, because now that the base is covering it, like, is the starting spot here or is it just slightly over to the side? And maybe that might be the difference. Or what they were really worried about is like big bases stopping people from scoring because now everything's a point of interest. So like, were they worried that people would just like plop onto a point, and then 3 inches is about the size of most of these big vehicles bases, or sorry, 3 inches is less than, so these big base vehicles could just stop you from being able to interact with points entirely. I think that's why they did it, right? Is that they moved, I think that they moved all the scoring to this thing, and like if I just drove a bus just whoop just right on top of the point and then displaced you off to the side of the bus, like you literally cannot, like, maybe I don't even know if you could like you'd have to like double move to get around the bus to maybe be able to score. And so I think that's why they were going with this direction, just because vehicles and points of interest and displacing and controlling the area is just really really strong. But that's a necessary evil, I think, for the game that we played. I think it would have been cooler.
It would be very interesting if in a later, before Adepticon, when they do the rest of the reveals, if they do yet another version of the ATSTs and the ATRTs, and instead of just ground vehicle, they just say walker.
Yeah.
And there, now you've got a whole other classification, and you pretty much solve your problems.
Yeah. Yeah, they provide like the benefit of like area light terrain, so that they don't obscure miniatures, but maybe they give just a small amount of cover or something.
Exactly. And
Like
then you can
walkers
still move through
specifically
them.
would work that. I think that'd be a great way to do it for walkers specifically, right? Like,
Yeah.
just area, it counts as like the volume counts as area light terrain. Obviously, your troopers can't stand in it, but getting the benefit of light terrain, or light cover obscuring could be really cool. It's like, yeah, I mean, you're trying to shoot me and you shot the leg of the ATST and it's armored leg, so like I could get behind that.
All right, then next up we need reinforcements, and it's 2 troopers. So friendly units that have a face-up order token gain disengage this round. It also doesn't specify that units given an order from this card gain disengage. So if you did happen to have like HQ uplink on a lot of your units, they could also benefit from disengage. But I don't know. I mean, this is really dependent.
It's a bad card.
Yeah, it's just dependent.
Bad card. It's a bad card.
Very
With,
expanded the art.
withdrawal no longer takes your whole turn, so all right, you get a little extra movement out of it. That's all it basically says. Because if you're gonna just disengage, just means that you can walk out of it normally, and you don't have to do the speed one. So yeah.
But at least you can still attack. Because withdrawal, you
Yeah.
can't attack,
You,
or
you can now,
not with
right?
disengage.
Oh, you can't. Sorry, you're right.
Sorry.
You can't
Sorry.
attack.
With withdrawal, you can't attack. With
Yeah,
disengage, you can.
right. But I just meant like, since it doesn't take up your whole turn. I guess yes, if you wanted to just like walk back and shoot, like, all right, I guess so. I don't know. I'm not a fan of this card. I don't think that there's gonna be a lot of worlds where I'm trying to get disengaged on my troopers inside of Tempest Force.
I'm
Like,
assuming
it's
that
all
if
about
you don't play a lot of the vehicles and you play more of the scout troopers, then maybe, because you might have a lot
Yeah.
more, and their 2 dice will slap a lot harder than their melee. So that could be helpful.
Yes.
But yeah, that's really about it.
Yeah.
Or
I
even
think
if you have Veers giving a standby and then you disengage, and then it allows them. It's going to have to force them to move, and then you can move your ATST. I'm sure there are some plays, but it's not going to be the most powerful thing.
Yeah, for 2 pip inside of a battle force, I feel like they could have done something a little bit stronger. I don't know.
I mean,
So
oh, well, let's see. How many can you get here? You can do.
Or you can get a lot of scouts. If you're trying to see how many scouts you can get a lot of scouts.
I mean, you can do 2 ATSTs with the Hammer's pilot, Mortar, Marquand, 6 scouts with 3 of them having the sniper, and then 2 storms.
Mm-hmm.
So, or I mean, now you've also got a new, a revamped bomb that we'll go over later.
that's going to be a good one to go over. So I'll quickly. We're almost done with the command cards. We've only got a few left. So, constantly alert is 3 units. So when a unit is issued an order with this card, it's going to gain an aim token for each enemy unit at range 1. And if it did not gain any aim tokens, it's going to gain a standby. So that's going to be.
This one's the insane one.
Yeah.
Marquand and your 2 ATSTs all get standbys. Sick. They all trigger. Something moves, it gets nuked off the face of the planet. Veers gives them another standby. Your opponent just like, why?
Well, I don't think you can have Veers and Tempest. So that'd be.
Oh, that's right. You
yeah.
can't have Veers and
Yeah.
Tempest. Okay,
Mhm.
that's the only thing keeping it. But still, you get 3 free standbys. I mean, it's still disgusting.
Mm-hmm. And then we've got the other Major Marquand command cards. So Major Marquand's 1 pip is during his activation this round, Major Marquand reduces his speed by 1 to a minimum of 1, which, I mean, you could just say reduces his speed to 1 because he's only got speed 2. But Major Marquand gains tactical 1 this round, and his weapons gain suppressive. So he's got like 3 or so weapons, so they're all going to gain suppressive if you decide to just annihilate a bunch of different units. Then you can hopefully suppress a whole bunch from scoring or panic them. And then his 2 pip at the start of Major Marquand's activation this round, each other friendly vehicle at range 1 of him may perform a free pivot. Then they may perform a speed 1 move, which is really good. If it, in my opinion, I don't know. And then armored
Extra moves is always insane, especially on big bases too. That's gonna be a great card. You'll use it every game.
Mm-hmm. And then armored cavalry. When another friendly vehicle begins its activation at range 1 of a friendly Major Marquand this round, it may choose one of the following effects. So if it's in the front arc or is undeployed, which I think is the brand new one, it's going to gain a dodge token. If it's in his side arc, it may gain 1 aim token. And if it's in his rear arc, it can perform a speed 1 move to kind of probably catch up with everybody. And that's all of Tempest Force.
Yeah,
cards.
you'll never play this card off the board. You're always going to play that to get the free speed 1 moves. It's the same as the other one. So the idea is what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to play a card. You want to get Marquand in front of your guys, and you're going to have them back behind, and they're going to be range 4, so they're going to move and shoot. And Marquand might do like 2 moves and get ahead. Then they're all going to be in his rear arc. So when you play this card, they can catch up to him. And then when you can do the Squadron on Me card, you get even more moves. So you're basically getting like you're shooting your ATSTs forward, and that's how you're supposed to play it. At least that's how I would. Again, free moves are insane.
Yeah, I'm glad it's only the dodges that can be used on the undeployed.
Yeah.
So we're not giving snipers aims
Sure.
and ATSTs aims before they deploy.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be really good. And then we've only got one last one. It's the 5th brother and 2 troopers for his 3 pip. Units that are issued an order by this card gain Dauntless this round. So you better have a pretty high courage value, commander for that. But I think that is all the command cards and updates that we have so far. I'm sure. I don't know when they're supposed to do other command cards and stuff like that at some point, but it'd be nice to get Shadow Collective to have free move cards, because that's one thing that's keeping me from playing Shadow Collective too much is, yeah, you have Maul and you've got, Gar Saxon, but you've got so many other cards that give free move actions, which are way more important, that it'd be nice to be able to move up units across the board. So I'm waiting for that. But we do have different types of we have new ways of how grenades work. So the impact grenades, it is only one person can use it. It's impact 4, and it's just 1 black dice. So
Good
hopefully
change. Usable in melee.
yeah, which is also really nice, especially
I
against
love
Dark
throwing grenades
Troopers.
at my feet.
Yeah, like there's gonna be some units that can really take advantage of it, right? Like an arc trooper with a grenade and charge into something like a vehicle, and then you just like, okay, this guy's gonna do 1 less die, but then now impact 4. Like it's good. I like it.
Yeah, it's gonna be really nice to play. I just think of Saving Private Ryan when he tries to go and attach one of those bombs to the tank, and it doesn't go over very well. So
Oof, poor guy.
yeah. The Backworld Medic. It is for the AA5 speeder truck. You just remove a wound or poison token from, or restore a mini to a friendly non-droid trooper unit, range 1 and in line of sight. Then roll 2 defense dice for suppression. I don't think anything's changed. I think it's just mostly new art. And then the Unorthodox Tactician is, I think, the exact same. Just roll 3 red defense dice, and then for each paint, you choose different friendly units at range 3. And they get a name. The ATRT, the flamethrower, is blast, spray, and is now melee to range 1, and it's 2 black dice, which, with the amount of horde armies I'm sure we're going to see, flamethrowers are going to be insanely good. And then onboard's comm channel is a little bit different now, so this unit, it just gains Coordinate Trooper, since the whole transport rules got changed. So I think the flame is going to be really, really good. ATRT and Flame is going to be insanely good now. And then Onboard's Comm is nice for the AA5 or anything else to give something in order. The Rebels. So we can go over those real quick. The Rebel Trooper in the MPL 57 Ion Trooper is no longer exhaustible. It is critical 1, impact 1, ion 1, which is all different. It's range 1 to 3. And it's a white and 2 black, which is pretty nice for 27 points. The Fleet Trooper. Oh, wait. Well, did y'all have anything to add?
I was just going to mention that with the ion change, I think that's why we're now seeing like critical 1, impact ion 1, kind of like as a trio, because now your ion is not going to just it doesn't like just take an action away. It like makes them do like a suppression roll. So like because ion is slightly worse than it was before, and that's why these cards kind of got a little bit stronger.
So it's like adding suppression to vehicles rather than...
Yeah, they rally it basically. For every ion, they roll a white die to see if they're suppressed. So if you get ion 3 on a vehicle, they would be rolling like 3 suppression, and if they don't get triple paint, then they are suppressed. They lose an action. So at 1 ion, it's like very unlike, it's 66% chance for them to fail, and then once you get 2 ion, it's like okay, pretty good. 3 ion, it's basically like guaranteed, but like it's no longer guaranteed they lose an action because I got an ion on them. But also, you used to be able to, I think, put 2 ion and then just neutralize their whole turn, right? Like it was like per ion reduce an action. So that's gone. So now they can never be more than suppressed. So ion's worse, but also better on the profiles of the weapons that use them. So maybe a net positive.
There's also something that we should talk about, just that's not here. The Rebel Trooper SX-21 is still only 13 points.
Which one's that? I don't remember.
It's 2 red, 2 white, impact 1, range 1 to 2.
Ah.
But it's still only 13 points.
I mean, that's pretty good. Yeah, that's pretty good. And range 2 is so much stronger now. So yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. And then
But anyway, yeah, I just wanted to bring that up on Ion, just because people, if they think it's like, oh, that's insane, it's like, well, hold on, it's not quite as good as it used to be.
yeah, because I was wondering that myself.
Much more fair.
Yeah.
It is.
And so the MPL 57 Barrage Trooper for the Fleet Troopers is exhaustible, and that is blast and impact two white and a black, and it does cycle, so you don't have to recover to get it back if you need to. The Scattergun is also still 2 red, Pierce 1, but now you can use it in melee to range 2.
And maybe you're gonna want to, because they have charge.
Yes, because that Pierce is in charge is actually going to be really good. Now the Proton Charge Saboteur. Here's a huge change to the Saboteurs. So it's for commandos only. It's a Proton Charge melee to range 1. It is a rainbow, and it's blast, critical 2, and impact 3. So do you think we're going to see a lot more Sabs, since it's not an area of explosion anymore? It's not a AoE.
Yeah.
I don't see why not. I mean, it is also 18 points cheaper than the sniper rifle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I definitely think we're gonna see it maybe a little bit now because of the points difference, but I don't think that it's good. Like,
And it doesn't hurt
it's
you
not
anymore.
bad. But yeah, it's not good though. Like, it's okay. Like, it's fine. It's a fine card now, which is an okay place to be. It's just that at range 1, you're just kind of being like, do I want my Rebel Commandos in range 1 of things? I don't know.
But with everything having charge, well, not everything, I should say, but with a lot more units having charge,
Yeah.
I feel like everything's closing
It's
in
inevitable.
a lot more.
Yeah. It's gonna be more inevitable for those things to happen. I mean, Rebels already surge on their on a lot of the
Offense, yeah.
units that mattered or had critical or whatever. So I don't think I don't think Commandos had surge though. So maybe it's okay.
Mhm.
Again, range 1 is the killer for me. Like, where I'm playing, I like my Commandos to be kind of like poking from a distance and being safe with low profile and chilling in the back.
I mean, they already surge hit, so it's interesting that they also have.
Oh, they do search it. Okay.
Yeah, so they're doubling down against armor.
Yeah, I think
Which
that's
is
the main
interesting.
thing.
Yep.
Critical 2 and impact.
Yeah, I mean, if an ATST is walking up to you to try to stomp on you with the command card or whatever, and he gets close enough, you're just like, all right, well, at least you have a deterrent. So maybe there's something there, but I don't know. I'm just torn.
Now, it's only 45 points for Rebel Troopers and Fleet Troopers to add an extra 5 guys and gain Indomitable.
Yeah,
And so that's not
and
too
it's
bad.
good. And it's good for them specifically, because they kind of need to rally, because otherwise they don't do anything all game.
Right? It's the only red dice they're ever going to see. And
Yeah, they have their scattergun. There's red dice there.
okay, yeah, that's true. The Rebel Veterans can
It's
also
not much, but still.
every little bit counts.
It's the only red blocking die that they're gonna see.
Yes, exactly.
They're
Yeah,
just
it's not
jealous.
actual
They're looking
defense
over at
profile.
us.
It's to see if
Yeah.
they can live.
Yeah, they're just jealous. They're looking over there at Luke and Ahsoka, and they're just like, man, these guys are so impressive, you know. We're just getting shot.
Yeah. We're all dying while they're running forward.
It's very thematic, I guess. I don't know.
Well, the Rebel Vets also have the same thing. They can also add 5 for 63 points and finally see some red defense dice. And then the Rebel Pathfinders, the Biston upgrade is critical 1, impact 1, ion 1, 4 white, 1 black, not exhaustible anymore. It doesn't have cycle because it's not exhaustible or anything, but yeah, still 2 health, which is pretty great. We have Shriv, which is still only 10 points, and it is for Rebel only, heavies only. He's going to gain Field Commander, and as a free action, he can choose a friendly trooper unit at range 2 and gain a dodge, and may gain a suppression, which is pretty nice. The land speeder. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was going to say, still the best of the three named transport leaders.
Oh, yeah. The M45 ion blaster for the land speeder is non-exhaustible anymore, which is, again, really nice. Range 1 to 4, 2 white, 2 black, critical 1, impact 1, ion 1. So the standard ion keywords, basically. The fun things now are the Ewok skirmishers and slingers, gaining 4 extra Ewok skirmishers for 28 and or 23 points, and getting Indomitable as well. Because isn't there a suppression rule for Ewoks in the
Yes.
Battle Force?
They
don't-
the
yeah,
Battle
they don't
Force,
take
they
them
don't
at the
remove
end
them
of
at the
the
end.
Yeah,
They don't take
Or
a
they
suppression
remove
off at
one
the end.
less.
they don't.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
either none at all or one less.
Yeah, something like that. So
Yeah.
So gaining that extra Indomitable is going to be pivotal, and I think they gained an extra personnel slot too. I think so they would be able to gain an extra 4 Ewok minis. I mean, I think that it's. I don't say mandatory, but I think it'd be one of the best options for them to add extra 4 for 28 points for that Indomitable.
It is really good, and it's not like they don't really need the Indomitable. They already weren't like lacking Inspire.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. But I guess
Everything
if you take
except
him,
for what?
I just think that
Han.
because it's so cheap, you're just taking it though. The
Yeah.
upgrade, like you just do.
and then
Yeah,
we are moving into clones, because clones now. This is pretty nice. The DP-23 shotgun trooper is still 2 red, Pierce 1, but it's also now being able to be used in melee to range 2. And I've been trying to add this to 5s with the charge, and because 5s, which we'll talk about in just a second, can also add his 3 black to melee, and that's pretty great. The Z6 still range 1-3, 6 white dice. The clone trooper infantry or clone marksman only, which is brand new, can bring the RPS range 2 to 4, rainbow, cumbersome, impact 2. The clone trooper infantry or clone marksman only, which I'm excited to see soon. They're going to be able to add a mortar, still critical 1, still suppressive, still range 2 to 4, 2 black. Echo went up drastically in points, and he is a leader, and so now there's like a whole new slot for leader upgrades. So you wouldn't be able to take, you say, like a clone commander and Echo, because there's 2 leaders in 1 unit, so you can't do that. And he gained reliable still range 1 to 5, 2 red dice, critical 1, lethal 1, immune to deflect, 2 health, which is good. And he could still be added into a core or special forces unit.
It's too expensive.
It
That's
is
my take.
kind of a deterrent.
52 points is almost a whole extra unit.
Yeah.
56 for another infantry. I'm sorry, I don't see it. Like, you're not, like, his gun is good and whatnot, but like, because the new guys are all, it's so you're basically getting half the health. You don't reliable. They all have reliable now, right? So it's like that's nothing, and so you're just trading 2 red, good gun, crit 1, 2 red for like 4 black, and then double the health, 4 health. I don't know, just like I just don't see it. I feel like I think that they're trying to prevent you from doing some crazy stuff where you're like adding him to like units and like kind of like ballooning and going crazy or whatever. But like, I don't know, 52 is just disgusting. I don't see myself ever taking Echo ever again, outside of Bad Batch. So
Yeah.
One thing with this, real quick, is since Echo can go into the marksman whenever they come out, and the mortar can go in the marksman whenever they come out, and they both grant critical 1. What? We lost access to the DC-15, which was critical 1. So I'm just wondering, what in the world are they going to look like when you're allowing units that essentially, if they potentially had like Surge Crit as a core unit somehow, um, that have critical one in them go into them. Like it's weird. It's I would have. I'd be very curious if they had like dropped critical one on the mortar, like what the marksman would look like. I have zero clue.
Yeah, I'm sure they could probably get into some really good combos, but he's also a heavy and a leader, so it just kind of gets tough for that unit. So that's why I'm like, I don't know why it needs to be 52 points either.
I mean, you used to take him in an Echo Strike team for 66 points. He's 52 by himself right now, before you've even put on the strike team tax for like 1 mini. And I mean, again, now with the way cover sucks and everything, like you're not tucking his trailing mini behind him to like, limit your damage and stuff like that. Like it's because now they have to have line of sight of each other. Like there's so many like rules that have just like been added that make taking an Echo Strike team more dangerous. And on top of the fact that you're just like you lose, I don't know however many total points it is, it's like 70 something points for a 3 health unit.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
come
70.
on.
It's 76 points for an Echo Strike team, so you might as well just take uh, like a commando squad without HQ uplink and save a point.
And have freaking surging red defense dice with
You
shields and
forget
stuff.
it's not 76 points for an Echo Strike team. It's 134 because it's a detachment.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
You do, yeah.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to bring your full arc first, and then you can spend 76 points for 3 health. Like, come on. I'm sorry. It's just weird. Sometimes when I see these particular points discrepancies like this, I'm just like, somebody messed up, and they put a 5 instead of a 2, and then nobody like that's all it is. They typoed. The guy was going through the document, he typoed. It was supposed to say 42 points, and he oopsie, because it just went up 10 points for literally nothing. No gain. They didn't change this in any meaningful good way. It like I don't know. And if somebody says, "Oh, well, it's because when you see the marksman, he's going to be busted in the mark." I don't care. We don't have marksman right now. Why is he? When the marksmen come out, you can change points. Like, so even if that's an argument, like, nah, it's a typo. That's all it is. It's a typo.
If it was any of my locals had been playtesters, I would say I'm sorry because my Echo never died in the Strike team. He would always roll blocks. It's like, is that why?
No,
Hey,
it's
maybe.
no. I'm telling you, it's either a typo, or they're trying to like put the points for the future because they have some knowledge. But again, that's a sorry excuse. When a new unit comes out, in my opinion, this is just my take, and I think the whole community would probably back me up here. If a new unit comes out for whatever that faction is, like if it's going to, break things, they should probably just go ahead and change the things at that time. Like new units coming out, and with that new unit, we're going to go ahead and tweak this here, this there, whatever, right? Like if it makes sense, to change because the power of other units may get adjusted. So this is a perfect example of like either we're paying the penalty of future units potentially being good, but not having them for a year, or I don't know how long, however many months. So that's my criticism, and hopefully somebody can send that message up and get it to somebody at AMG. Is just like, hey, you either typoed here, or you need to like really like look at like why some of these upgrades are so grossly over. Again, it's the same thing with the shores, right? 70 points, which we haven't got to them yet in the document, but we know 70 points to for their size versus 56 for the clones. Something weird happened there, I think. Like I'm not sure how they mathed that one out.
It may be just because of the prepared positions, but that's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah, it's just weird. It's
Maybe
just a very weird choice.
maybe it's the one sympathy thing we got for losing our second core. Like, I don't know.
Well, the clone infantry main, just extra guys, 13 points. The clone trooper infantry for 5 extra clones is 56 points. It's basically the same price as a whole nother unit, except you're just putting it into the same squad as another one, and it gains Indomitable So outside of the 501st, it could be pretty decent.
It's one of only two that are the exact same price.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I mean, it's 5 guys for 56. If you wanted to take a 5-man unit right now, it's going to be 69 points. Giggity.
Mm-hmm.
So
All right, so the comms technician is 30 points. You lose a comm slot, but you gain fire support.
world's smallest violin for fire support.
Yeah. Which is you basically gain a standby.
Yeah,
So
that
for
will
30
immediately
points.
get shot off.
Yep.
Because it's a range 2 fire support. It's like you'll never get to use this. There's a niche scenarios where you'll get to use it, but like I'm not spending 30 points for that. Sorry.
Maybe if it was like 20 points, because then you can add like the training upgrade slot for Overwatch to gain an extra range band, and it comes out to almost 30 at that point, because it's what, 34 or 24. Maybe if you put it at 26 and then made it to where Overwatch was an extra 4 points for 30, sure. But
I mean, because it forces your opponent to have to shoot that unit. Yes.
Mhm.
So that's probably worth it, right? So they may not want to shoot that unit, but they're like, I can't just give you a free attack. So like I think that there's room for it there, but 30 points for fire support of range 2. I'm not doing it.
Maybe it goes on an Echo, or not Echo, a 5 squad that's already in melee. But that's at least something.
Yeah. Well,
Just
this
so
is
there's no Jedi mind trick.
but then you're not getting the extra 5 guys for 56 points.
Yeah. But if you're putting, like, if you do 5s, the comm stick and the shotgun, yeah. That's still pretty gross, and possibly doing that twice.
Yeah, it's not unplayable at 30. Or sorry, it's not unplayable in the game. I think it's unplayable at 30. Is what yeah. At 30, it's too expensive for the effect, the new effect of fire support. If this was old fire support, I would pay 40 points for this. If it's old fire support, I would totally. I would just be like, all right, this is my fire supporting unit. His name is Greg. Greg is going to shoot you now.
The clone medic is up 2 points.
Yeah, probably for the best. It was at 15. It was taken a lot, and I can sort of see. With bigger unit sizes and things taking a lot longer to finish off, the chance for you to resurrect guys is a little bit better, and so maybe it's a little. I'm thinking that they're just looking at it from like that standpoint of it's slightly stronger because units can't just get like one tapped off the board as easily with larger unit sizes.
It's probably scaled like how the other ones are, where they're around like the cost of a mini that you're bringing back. Or 2.
Well, they've already told us how much it costs, right? Like a mini is 13 points, right? Like for a single guy, so
yeah.
So
well, I mean,
he's
like,
so his effect is saying 4 points to, because you still get this guy,
yeah,
right? So they're saying the resurrecting a guy is worth 4 points. Like,
I just mean because
that's cheap.
Also, like the squad going up by at minimum 4 points.
Yeah.
So
yeah. But that's my rationale, right? So if 13 points is the cost for one mini, like to add, you still get the mini because he's not non-combatant, so you just paid 4 points to have the ability to resurrect a guy or heal your Anakin or something.
And it's the same thing for an engineer, 17 points.
Yeah.
The clone specialist is 17 as well, and it's exhaustible. It's no cycle. You actually have to recover. But
it's not gonna be taken. You're just taking medics.
Yeah. And it's a free action to gain an aim, a dodge, or a surge token, and you're gonna gain an extra gear slot. Maybe in the future if there's more gear upgrades, because I don't think we've actually had any significant gear upgrades in years. So
maybe there'll be some new generic upgrades in those faction card packs. Like they just put something out that's in each of them.
They need to be faction locked upgrades if they're going to do those kinds of things, because I think that right now we're suffering from the fact that the cost of a lot of our upgrades is wild, because in some factions it's really good. Like, this is the vigilance tax that people used to complain about. It's like Pikes made vigilance like so good, so then rebels were like, hey, we need that. That's really important for our whole faction to work. And then and Pikes are just like, nah, we're gonna ruin it for everybody, right? So taking vigilance and marking it rebel only, and I don't mean literally, I'm just saying like making another one that's like vigilance that's rebel only is a really cool way to say, hey, we realize that you need this.
Or using the PIP system.
Yeah.
For out more cards.
Yeah.
Good too.
Yep.
All right.
Boyle is 20. Big
yeah.
sad.
Boyle, but he's now a commander, so you can actually have a personnel of a medic in the same squad as Boyle.
He can heal himself.
Yeah.
And I mean like you might want to do that. I mean, sure. It feels a little silly that he went up from 15 to 20. But the cost for scout only went up by 3, so I would have thought that he would have went from 15 to 18. So
probably
I don't know.
Yeah. Probably again, that's also taking into effect the whole unit price going slightly up from like the least amount.
Maybe, yeah.
To essentially add 3 points onto the 17.
Yeah.
And then you got the.
Yeah, it could be the case, but.
And then.
I'm still taking him. Like,
oh,
I
yeah.
guess. I mean, that's for anybody out there that's curious. I mean, yeah, he's 20 points, but I'm still taking him.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And then Waxer, I think maybe now.
And I'm still not taking Waxer. No.
Yeah.
I'm not taking Waxer. He should have stayed 17 or whatever the cost for those other ones. Discipline. It's like, again, scout. Cool. He's got scout. So what's the cost of an extra guy, right? Like. Okay, 13 points. Give him scout. 18. All right, cool. But like, and disciplined is kind of dumb. Like, yeah, it's okay. It's an okay keyword. But like, yeah, I don't know. Not everything always has to be costed like perfectly. I think this was a great example where this card could have stayed 17 and then been there. Like, this is like, I don't know. Just make it the same cost as a medic.
It'll be interesting to see. I kind of want people to play with him, though, just to see how he works into the new way how suppression plays and interacting with scoring objectives.
Yeah.
So I'll be curious to see how he actually plays now.
Yeah. I'm just going to have a lot harder time finding room for him when he takes up the same slot as my Inspire commander, whatever guy.
That's true.
For 22 points. So.
And now,
like,
now for double the points, you can have 2 health, and you can have.
Yeah, and you take it all day.
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah.
Every day.
5s.
Every list. Every list gets this guy.
Yeah.
Why would you not?
Yeah, to increase the courage by 1, so you have courage 3 now. You have charge, and then maybe you take him with a 56-point extra infantry squad. So now you have an indomitable charge unit that's courage 3. And you can use his 3 black in melee up to range 3 and gain charge. So I was like, I don't know if he actually went up very much
and
or
coordinate.
if he and coordinate.
He didn't go up at all.
He
didn't change.
Yeah, he's the same.
This is why I'm like, why did again?
Yeah.
Echo, it's a typo. It's a typo.
That's what I'm wondering.
5. It was a typo.
Yeah, how did Echo go up so much and not 5? I'm
And
glad 5s.
And to me, by the way, I guess this is worth saying because I didn't think about it until just now. These are unique upgrades, so for them to be slightly more powerful for their points, like is kind of like okay, because you're like, well, you get the 1, so you have 1/5s in your whole army, right? You got to be very careful when you're pricing out things that you can spam, like medics, etc. Like, it can get out of hand or whatever. But this is like your one guy, and he's really cool. So like, it's good that he's 40 points.
Yeah.
And and he's very playable at 40 points. I didn't barely ever take 5s before. But now with the increase of the points and the giving him charge and melee being ever more relevant, like, I don't think I'm ever building lists without him now. Like, unless I really am really trying to pinch pennies to get something incredible or, really strong in a list. Like like I don't know, OB Annie, and I really really need force push or something. Okay, maybe fives gets cut, but like at that point, I don't know. Even then,
And
I
then
try to find
a
room for him.
clone commander now has Inspire 1 and Reliable 1 for 22 points. I
Are you
mean, not
sure?
bad.
He's super good.
Yeah. The clone
Super
captain,
good.
I think clone captain has lots of synergy
He
with,
changed a lot.
yeah, with fives as well, because then this unit gains outmaneuver and defend 1 for 22 points. So, like you have
Yep, you're
fives
always
and
giving. Yeah, you're keeping this guy next to fives, and he's always getting his defend one outmaneuver token. Sick. Love it.
and you can put this on arcs, which is also extremely like fun, I should say.
It's probably where you should put him.
Mhm.
To be fair.
It's honestly probably one of the reasons too why we have yet to see one of our reworked commanders or operatives gain exemplar or keep exemplar. Is probably because you can do this.
Yeah.
And it's spammable.
And then Clone Commander Fox is only for the Republic LAAT patrol. He's gained Field Commander, and then for free you can choose a friendly trooper unit at range 2, and then the chosen unit gains a surge token and may remove a suppression token. So it's like basically having Inspire, giving out a surge, and for free at range 2, and make sure that you've got a Field Commander in case you didn't want to bring a lot of other stuff. And then
Still not worth 10 points.
yeah, I don't have a lot yet, so I don't know if I would take him. But the clone shock pilot is only 4 points, and when this unit performs an attack action after the action's resolved, you can choose up to a friendly unit at range 1 of this unit, and that chosen unit gains a surge token. I wish it was a dodge, but I guess a surge token is okay.
What have they done to my boy?
Yeah. The one that you would always put with your Wookiees.
It was so good. It was either a dodge, an aim, or a surge. And now it's just surge when you make an attack.
Yeah, that kind of sucks. For the
More than kind of. It does suck.
yeah, no, for sure.
It's more in line with the other two now. There you go.
I guess so.
Now, the Bark Ion Gunner is your standard critical 1, impact 1, ion 1, range 1 to 3. You reduce your speed by 1 still. It's 1 white, 3 black. You have the infantry support platform only. So when this unit performs an attack action, after the attack action is resolved, each defending unit gains an observation token. Okay.
I mean, I'm not bringing in an ISP, so this card will never be relevant. So
Yeah, I mean, you were barely bringing it just for the fire support thing, so now it's just like, cool. I'm not taking it anymore.
Yep.
And then, so now we're in Empire. So the Empire's Saboteur is, instead of a single rainbow, it is a rainbow plus an extra black, and it's blast.
You got the treatment of the other one. Is this right? Isn't this like the same as the Rebel one, basically?
No,
It's
I think
only one.
yeah, it's
That's a little different.
blast, impact 2, and suppressive. I think the Rebel one also had critical 2, impact 3,
Yeah.
and a single
It's
rainbow.
the only one that is 4 dice and not 3.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is
Okay.
probably related to them not having a surge conversion at all.
Yep.
But yeah.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
The one that you're probably going to see a lot is the Snowtrooper Flamethrower, blast and spray, melee
Yeah, you are.
up to range 1, and a single black dice. The T7 Ion Snowtrooper is no longer exhaustible, but it is also just 1 white, 2 black, range 1 to 3, critical 1, impact 1, ion 1. The HH12 is no longer exhaustible. It is still cumbersome, though, and it's range 2 to 4, 3 black, impact 3. So that's pretty nice for 22 points. The Stormtrooper Squad and Snowtrooper Squad are both 46 points to add 5 extra minis and gain Indomitable. That is that the same price as the Rebels? I think I just was like
I
the
think
Rebel.
so.
Yeah, not bad for extra red dice, defense dice, and for Indomitable. Hey, doubling up on that. Now the short troopers, 5 extra miniatures are just 24 more points than the snowtrooper squad or stormtrooper squad, and
Maybe that was a typo too. Should have been 60.
yeah, that'd be nice. And then you've got the Imperial only heavy Governor Price for free. You can choose a friendly trooper unit at range 2. The chosen unit gains an aim and a suppression. You don't get to pick.
Boo.
Yeah.
Boo. Like, I'm not doing that.
It's still just a Vader. Like, that's it. Or the Dark Troopers.
Yeah.
Yep.
Maybe Darks. Okay.
The thing I'm excited about is the dewback, even though it's not much of a great change because you can use now the flamethrower in melee. It's still blast and spray. So if you're going up against something that the normal melee profile of a dewback rider cannot chew down, then maybe the flamethrower could work, like against your B1s, Ewoks, because it is blast spray. But the other one is still critical one. So I don't know what you'd want, but at least outside, if you can't quite reach with the dewback's relentless and or spur, you can at least get a pretty decent.
And they can attack, and they did say that they can attack when they withdraw. So like, there's going to be a world where like, oh, I've chewed up on this unit and it's too weak to matter anymore, so I'm going to withdraw and, you know, spray blast this guy over here. Like, it's good.
That's pretty
it's a
good by
weapon.
itself, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, and then into CIS, the B1 battle droids, the E60Rs, cumbersome, which I don't think it was before, was it?
No, it wasn't cumbersome, which sucks.
No, welcome to the pain that I have had for years. If you want to use a rocket launcher, you have to lug it around.
Mm-hmm. Even droids with no muscles
Okay,
have
but
to
you
lug
have
it
red
around.
defense dice, so like, I mean, there's not much to complain about there.
It also got its dice changed.
It's a single rainbow now.
Was it red and 2 blacks?
Yeah, it went from a 2 black, 1 red to a rainbow.
It's just an RPS now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What?
well, it's
Well, I mean, you know, like that. All it really was is that it was a clone who died, and like they dropped it, and this Roger, he picks it up, he just starts walking around with it. Like, that's what happened.
So wait, who would have ever thought we'd live in a world where the rocket launchers would be jealous of the HH-12?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Critical. No, sorry. Impact 3.
Impact 3. What is this?
Yep.
Yeah.
With basically the same, like a rainbow and triple black is basically the same odds. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's
and
just
the thing shooting it does surge to hit natively, so
Yeah.
What the heck?
yeah. So,
Yeah.
All right. Well,
So,
anyway, moving
just
on.
totally- yeah.
Smallest violin for the E60.
So the Deoxys Mine Saboteur is a rainbow now. Blast and Poison 1. You can use it in melee and range 1. So say goodbye to multiple minis.
It's okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's 28 points. It's kind of expensive, I think, for the effect.
It's still probably good if you throw the sword on them, because now you're doubling down on melee.
Yeah.
Get charged.
That's yeah.
And if you don't have flamers for whatever reason, if you don't have spiders, you've got something that can be a little bit more effective into Ewoks.
Mm-hmm.
Just a little bit more.
Just a little bit.
Just one more mini more.
And then the B1 Battle Droid Squad is 38 points for 7 extra B1s.
You
Blech.
know
Good
it.
one.
I'm here for it.
Yeah.
That's another typo. It was supposed to say 48. They messed up.
No, it's 'cause they got the cumbersome on the rocket, so they had to.
No. I will
Trade-off.
give you back your no cumbersome. This goes up 10 points. Deal. Let's do
Incoming
it.
trade alert. I'll keep the cumbersome and I'll keep 38 points at 7 minis. Let's go. I think it's what is their base cost? 38?
It's the
36.
same.
Yeah.
It's the other one that's the same.
Yeah.
Let's go. What are we talking about, man? Maximizing points here in an already cheap army. Let's go.
Yeah, I think
All right,
Coco
well-
Zula or whoever it was, I think it's Coco Zula.
Yeah,
I think that's how you
Coco
pronounce
Zula,
it. He put out a video that is an insane amount of B1s. So at least it looks cool on the table. The B2,
20.
yeah.
Something like that.
I don't know if there's enough dice on a in guard to be able to take that out.
Let me
Now,
just add the worker droid and the emergency stems. Let's go.
Thankfully, that is a personnel.
Yeah, you can't bring repairs and 7 extra droids.
Well, I'll just have them behind them, then. It's okay.
Yep. Now
Fair.
the B2 super battle droids, you can add an extra 4 for 77, and and that's a ton of red dice for that B2 squad.
Yeah, and they're stronger now, so red save.
Oh, yeah.
Losing armor is not a big deal because they didn't have full armor, so going to red saves is actually pretty solid.
Oh yeah. And then the Geonosian Warrior Squad, it's 51 points for 5 extra Geonosians, and they also gain Indomitable. And then the Dwarf Spider Droid's Flamethrower is just a red and a white. It can be used in melee and range 1 now, and it's just blast and spray still. And then the Nose-Mounted Ion Blaster is no longer exhaustible, and it's 3 black, 3 white still, 2 to 4, critical 1, impact 2, and Ion 1. So a little bit
That
stronger
should
than
have kept the refresh. Of all of them, that one should have kept it.
Yeah.
Nah, I mean, 5 points on it. It's fine.
Especially when the precise AI thing didn't go up in points.
Ah.
Ugh.
But that is all of the upgrades and all of the unit cards. So
We did it.
yay, we made it through. So I'm sure we can share our thoughts a little bit more in another video because we are about almost at 2 hours now. So yeah, I will let people enjoy listening to this one still. I like them.
Nice little podcast.
Yeah,
All the
I mean,
content.
yeah, I like, when I'm getting ready in the morning, usually I'm listening to like a podcast. It's about 2 hours or so, listening to it at like 1.25 times the speed or so and getting it done a little quicker. So
Great for painting.
yeah, great for painting because you don't have to watch anything really. You can just listen.
Mhm.
But thanks a lot, guys, for joining and giving your input. This is definitely helpful for me, and I'm hoping it's helpful for a lot of other people getting to hear your input on the possibilities of how to use these cards and what to do with these cards, and even some strategy behind some of the command cards and unit cards. So I'm very thankful for all of you guys joining. I know the next video we're going to talk about the battle forces, and we probably, since there's not like an insane amount, we'll probably be able to even fit the objective cards in
Definitely.
there as well. And
Oh yeah, we'll probably start talking about which battle forces got hurt, or helped with the new battle deck stuff going on. So we can definitely allude to that too.
yeah, no, I've been seeing a ton of questions on what objectives and secondary objectives do people need to bring for the battle forces. One example was Tempest Force. They don't know which one to bring with all the vehicles. So it'll be really cool to see what objectives work the best for battle forces. But yeah, thanks for watching, everybody. Any sign-offs? Anything new? Again, I don't know ever how to sign off. I don't ever know what to say. But
I mean, I guess I have one now.
yeah, what is it? What is it?
Chaos.
Welcome to Chaos. Welcome to the Thunderdome.
Yes, exactly.
All right.
Awesome.
But all right, guys, thanks a lot, and we will see you in another video soon.
See you later.
Peace.
Peace.